This kid got his teacher pregnant. The movie opens with Donnie and his two friends casually strolling down the school highway, engaged in a lively conversation about relationships. During their talk, Donnie offhandedly mentions that he's no longer interested in girls, but has shifted his attention to women. Seizing the opportunity, he addresses Mrs. Magarico by her first name, Mary, and casually invites her to a concert with the offer of 2 tickets to Van Hill. Mrs. Magarico promptly corrects him, asserting her role as a teacher, not a girlfriend, and emphasizes the formality of addressing her as Mrs. Magarico. In response to Mrs. Magarico's correction, Donnie clarifies that he didn't refer to her as a girlfriend. However, his inappropriate comment about receiving a hand job crosses the line, prompting Mrs. Magarico to respond sternly by assigning Donnie detention. Another scene unwraps as Donnie is in detention. Then Mrs. Magarico seduces Donnie and they have an intimate session. The rest of the days, Donnie became Mrs. Magarico's boyfriend. The next scene unfolds during the school president election, and an air of anticipation fills the room. As the candidates deliver their speeches, mysterious noises emanate from behind the curtains, capturing the attention of the audience. Intrigued, the principal, sensing something amiss, requests for the curtains to be opened, unveiling an unexpected surprise: Mrs. Magarico having an intimate scene with Donnie. In a dramatic turn of events, the story shifts to a courtroom where Donnie and Mrs. Magarico find themselves entangled in legal proceedings. Mrs. Magarico is sentenced to 30 years in prison, leaving her yet-to-be-born child in the care of Donnie's father. The plot thickens as Donnie, propelled into fame and fortune through his own TV network, finds himself in possession of a substantial amount of money, $100,000. However, instead of using the money wisely, Donnie takes a misguided turn by purchasing tickets for various people. In the next scene, the narrative takes a sobering turn as Donnie, now older, is confronted with the shocking news that he faces imprisonment for 3 years for failing to pay tax, dating back to 1940. Perplexed by the misunderstanding, Donnie learns that the taxes he believed were automatically deducted were, in fact, not handled as he assumed. Faced with the looming threat of incarceration, Donnie's friend Jimmy delivers a lifeline. He informs Donnie that if he can gather $43,000 by the end of the weekend, his sentence will be dismissed. In a tight spot with only $25 to his name, Donnie confides in his friend Jimmy about his financial predicament. Jimmy, always on the lookout for opportunities, shares news about a betting game featuring a hefty contender named Tabby Tuck, also known as Fat Guy, with astonishing odds of 8,000 for a potential win. Seeing this as a chance to turn his luck around, Donnie decides to take a risk and puts $20 on Tabby Tuck. As the stakes rise, Jimmy suggests that Donnie seek help from his son. However, Donnie reveals that his son, Han Solo, took off when he turned 18, leaving him without that option. In the nightclub that Donnie frequents, he stumbles upon a magazine that unexpectedly features his son. To his surprise, he discovers that his son, who now goes by the name Todd Peterson, is set to marry Jemmy Martin. More astonishingly, Todd has risen to become the head cap manager in the financial industry. The revelation of Todd's success and transformation, including significant weight loss, leaves Donnie both amazed and reflective. The plot takes a poignant turn as Donnie discovers in the magazine that Todd's parents, presumably including himself, tragically perished in an explosion. In the next scene, Donnie, desperate to secure the funds to pay off his taxes, returns to the TV studio where he used to be aired. In a meeting with the head of the studio, Randall Morgan, a deal is struck. If Donnie can arrange a reunion with his long-lost son and his mother, who is in a women's prison, he will be granted $50,000. This sets the stage for an emotional and challenging journey for Donnie as he endeavors to reconnect with his estranged family. The subsequent scene shifts to Todd, a fiancé to Jemmy Martin, visiting his boss Steve's house along with his wife and in-laws. Here, they are introduced to Steve's mother, Doris. The meeting hints at a complex dynamic, suggesting that Steve plays a role akin to a substitute father for Todd. In a surprising twist, Donnie arrives at Mr. Steve's home, claiming to be Donnie's closest friend. He shares a compelling story about a past incident where Steve supposedly saved him from a near-death experience. According to Donnie, he was on the verge of getting run over by a train while attempting to retrieve his fallen burrito on the tracks. In a tense and emotionally charged conversation between Donnie and Todd, the son confronts his father about past incidents that left a lasting impact on their relationship. Todd recounts a specific episode when he was just 12 years old. revealing that Donnie got drunk and had Todd drive him home. To make matters worse, Donnie neglected his parental responsibilities by leaving Todd to have lollipops as breakfast, which ultimately contributed to Todd developing diabetes. In an attempt to mend their strained relationship, Donnie resorts to deception as he lies to Todd. He fabricates a story about Todd's mother being gravely ill, claiming that Saturday is the last opportunity for them to visit her before she undergoes a critical surgery. This fabrication is Donnie's desperate ploy to create a pretext for a family reunion. At the party, it went smooth until some couples noticed Johnny as the boy who made their teacher pregnant. Then at the part, Johnny has charmed the people with his stories, and also some couple recognize Johnny as that boy who made his teacher pregnant. People speak up, even Steve says he thought of doing something with her biology teacher. They also go ahead asking where his son went to, and the response he gives is, he became a real dick. As the party takes an unexpected turn, the best man steps down, leaving Donnie in an opportune position. Seizing the moment, Johnny proposes a game of baseball to liven up the atmosphere. However, Todd, unenthusiastic and displaying signs of anxiety around sports activities, seems uneasy. His discomfort becomes evident when he gets hit by the ball on the neck. The next day, the group heads to the church where the wedding is scheduled to take place. However, tension arises when Todd and Father McNally engage in a heated disagreement. Todd shockingly expresses that his dad deserved to die in the explosion for no apparent reason. In response, Father McNally reveals a disturbing truth about his father, disclosing that he was abusive and used to hit him with a rec regularly. Instead of acknowledging the gravity of the revelation, Todd dismisses Father McNally's words. In a tense confrontation outside the church, Father McNally inexplicably attacks Todd, subjecting him to a brutal beating. As Todd struggles to defend himself, he finds a brief opening and retaliates with a single punch. However, the violence escalates further until Donnie, witnessing the altercation, intervenes to protect Todd. Acting swiftly, Donnie uses a beer bottle to incapacitate Father McNally, rendering him unconscious and putting an end to the physical altercation. After the unsettling incident at the church, Donnie suggests an alternative plan since they have been kicked out. Proposing a more serene and scenic setting, he recommends Todd and Jemmy get married near the beach. The idea gains traction, and the group starts planning for the beach wedding, including the arrangement of another priest to officiate the ceremony. As the night progresses, Donnie and Todd, seeking more adventure, decide to visit Todd's mother's son, Vanilla Ice. Together, they embark on a mischievous spree to add a bit of excitement to the evening. Their escapades include visiting an ice rink to playfully annoy some people, causing a stir in a supermarket by drinking beer without paying, and playfully interrupting a couple's intimate night in a car. The night takes a chaotic turn as Todd, in his intoxicated state, confuses the mannequin dressed in a wedding gown with Jemmy. In a regrettable moment, he ends up vomiting on the dress and performing coitus to it, creating an unexpected and messy situation. In the morning, Jemmy, unaware of the previous night's mishap, instructs Todd to take the wedding dress to the dry cleaners. Afterward, Todd calls Donnie to inform him that he's going to see his mother. Concerned, Donnie attempts to dissuade him, but Todd remains determined. Unable to change Todd's mind, Donnie drives to the location to intervene. However, upon seeing Mrs. Magarico, he becomes unexpectedly captivated by her presence and gets brainwashed. Randall Morgan, seizing the opportunity, appears and starts filming the encounter. Tensions rise as Todd becomes angry, walking away despite Donnie's attempts to explain the consequences of not securing the $43,000. The situation becomes emotional, with Todd pushing on and leaving angrily. Donnie is left frustrated and tearful. Randall Morgan, failing to get a signed release form, decides not to air the footage. In a surprising twist, Donnie, while returning to the house to collect his belongings, overhears a conversation between Jemmy and his mistress, Steve, Todd's boss supposedly. Jemmy expresses concern about the call being made on a line where Todd could have picked up, suggesting a level of secrecy or hidden conversations. Shocked and hurt by this revelation, Donnie is prepared to confront the situation and reveal what he has overheard. At night, inspired by Kenny's idea, Donnie decides to make a sweet gesture to win back Jemmy. Armed with ice cream, he heads to the reception. Embracing the role of a legendary figure from his past exploits, Donnie confidently lies to the receptionist, claiming to be Todd. Intrigued by Donnie's reputation and story, the receptionist accepts his claim, allowing him to proceed with his plan to surprise Jemmy with the sweet treat. Upon entering the room, Donnie perceives sounds resembling individuals engaging in mating activities. Donnie retreats to a location that appears precarious, but successfully manages to enter and witnesses Chad and Jenny in the act. Jenny also reveals Chad's full occupation as not being a Marine, but a modern jazz dancer, and gets his uniform from eBay to fool their dad. In a dramatic turn of events, Donnie, armed with a picture as evidence of Jenny's offer, is initially enticed by her proposition of $50,000 to keep quiet. However, on the day of the wedding, Donnie experiences a change of heart. Seeking support from Vanilla Ice, the two rush to the wedding venue. Before the ceremony starts, Father McNally apologizes to Todd and substitutes the new father cause he wanted to really unite the couple. As the ceremony unfolds, Donnie disrupts the proceedings by objecting to Todd and Jemmy's marriage. Then, Donnie coerces Jemmy into divulging the secret, threatening to expose it to everyone. Once Jemmy reveals the secret, Todd is taken aback and blurts out loudly, "You engage in sexual relations with your sibling." Subsequently, Todd discloses his true identity as Han Solo and refuses to proceed with the wedding, as Jemmy desires. In response, Jemmy returns with a knife threatening to stab Donnie. In self-defense, Donnie strikes her with a bottle. Meanwhile, Chad also approaches Donnie in a fit of rage, and Todd retaliates by hitting Chad with a bottle. Donnie and his son, who now goes by the name Han Solo, find themselves in a new scene where Han and Brittany exchange meaningful glances, considering the possibility of becoming a couple. However, their interaction is interrupted when Johnny's friend, who also serves as their manager, enters the room and switches on the television. As they all watch, they witness Tabby Tuck's victorious triumph, realizing that their bet has paid off and they will receive a